Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms. And if you can't tell by the sound of my voice, I am a little tired. I had to get up bright and early to record this video, but nevertheless, the show must go on. Welcome back to the Lightning Flash Update. You already know who I am, Mr. Controversy, and the operator of the best damn Twitter handle known to mankind. This is the Lightning Flash Update for November 17th, 2017. Couple days before Survivor Series, and we're going to get straight into the weekly show reviews. So, Raw, it was a decent show. It had its moments here and there. It had its dull moments, but overall, it was a decent show. Show kicked off with Stephanie McMahon. She introduced Kurt Angle. Angle tells Stephanie that he's going to break Shane's ankle. Steph says, "I don't want my brother's ankle. I want my brother's head on a silver platter." The fact is that you led Raw to a defense against nothing, and you let the New Day into our building. How can I trust a general manager like that? She was about to fire Kurt Angle, but then the New Day got a big surprise as the Shield came out, interrupted Stephanie, and the Shield challenged the New Day. And the New Day actually responded with tweets later on in the night, and they accepted the match. So, Bayley then defeated Dana Brooke and Mickie James in a pretty good triple threat match to become the final member of the Raw women's team. Dana, not smart. Not smart, honey. So, Dana Brooke falls to the outside. Asuka goes to check on her. And Dana Brooke, like the idiot that she is, she forearms Asuka in the face. And then Asuka just lit up like the Incredible Hulk. And just destroyed Dana Brooke with one spinning back kick right to the face. Nice knowing you, Dana. Coming up next, we had the Cruiserweight Champion, Enzo Amore, and Drew Gulak, who, might I add, are funny as hell. So, they keep on going back and forth, and Enzo keeps on insulting Kalisto. He says, "I equal big pockets, Kalisto equals small pockets," and Drew Gulak just stares at the camera with his finger pointed at it and just goes, "No pockets!" And I'm sitting there on my bed just laughing my ass off, and then all of a sudden Enzo calls the Gulak Gabagulak, and then that led to a tag team match between Gulak, Amore, and Kalisto and Tozawa. And Gulak and Amore ended up defeating Kalisto and Tozawa. Enzo Amore defeated Tozawa to win the tag team match with the Jodunzo. Obviously, this is all leading up to the Cruiserweight Championship match between Kalisto and Enzo at Survivor Series. Miz hosted Miz TV with the new tag team champions, The Bar. And they basically said that they are going to destroy the Usos, this and that. Coming up next, we had Jason Jordan defeating Bray Wyatt, and then immediately afterward, Wyatt assaulted the leg of Jason Jordan. You gotta turn Jason Jordan heel. You need to turn him heel ASAP. It's not working for him. And I actually do have a big prediction. I do have a big prediction regarding Jordan for Survivor Series, which I will get into in a little bit. So Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman addressed AJ Styles, and Heyman was given 5 reasons why you should tune into Survivor Series. And during his promo, a man in the audience proposed to his girlfriend, and then the crowd just started chanting, "She said yes." And Paul Heyman, like the savage that he is, goes, "She only said yes because she hasn't been near a beast like Brock Lesnar." Heyman is without a doubt the best promo cutter in the business. I don't care what anyone says about Bray Wyatt, Miz, or all these other people. Paul Heyman is the supreme god of promos, no matter who you're talking about. And he basically stated that AJ Styles ain't got a chance of beating Brock Lesnar. Then the Shield defeated The Miz and The Bar. That was a pretty good 6-man tag team match. And Kurt Angle then came out, and he was going to announce that Jason Jordan would not be on the Survivor Series team. But Jordan came out. He said, no, don't do this. This is the only time of the year that we're on SmackDown fighting direct competition, and I get to fight alongside my father. Stephanie demanded that Kurt make the announcement. And then out of nowhere, Kurt Angle is completely, beside himself. He puts his face in his palm when Triple H comes out. Triple H comes out, takes the microphone. If you won't make the damn announcement, I will. Final member of Team Raw is me. Raw bringing out the big guns. Watch out, SmackDown. And that led to a pedigree to Jason Jordan. And I'm going to call this right down the middle. If you are thinking this currently, remember, you heard it here first. If you hear this, if this actually comes true, if this happens, you heard it here first. There's absolutely nothing that is stopping the company from having Jason Jordan interfere in the men's match at Survivor Series and costing Triple H an elimination. There's nothing stopping him. He could either have Triple H getting eliminated at the hands of Jordan, or Jason Jordan turn heel on Angle. Either way, Jason Jordan is going to fit into this Triple H Kurt Angle build for WrestleMania. Next, Samoa Joe and Finn Balor defeated the Club. It was a decent tag team match. I'm not going to discredit anything that those four guys can do. And then in the main event, it wasn't really noteworthy. Braun Strowman and Kane had a brawl, led to a running power slam through the ring. That was pretty much it. I actually hope Kane doesn't get involved in the Survivor Series match, because this feud with Strowman is completely pointless. I have no idea why they brought Kane back in the first place. On SmackDown Live, without a doubt, was a perfect show. Perfect show, top to bottom. I loved every minute of it. So Shane McMahon basically hyped up the roster backstage. That led to a SmackDown Rocks chant. Daniel Bryan came out to begin the show. He introduced AJ Styles, and Daniel Bryan was AJ Styles' advocate for the night. He became the phenomenal advocate. Daniel Bryan was basically throwing insults at Lesnar, saying, Lesnar's been known to mentally quit. He quit WWE. He quit to a half-ass knee bar in a UFC fight, which I thought was a phenomenal burn. But regardless, this led to Daniel Bryan saying, I'm going to give you one reason to watch Survivor Series, to watch a beast mentally quit. AJ Styles took the microphone and said, no, I'll talk. I'm not a puppet like Brock Lesnar. He basically said that he was going to defeat Brock Lesnar. He was going to do the unthinkable and prove that SmackDown Live is the A show and the house that AJ Styles built. You could definitely put that on a t-shirt. SmackDown is the house that AJ Styles built. That would be a very good t-shirt. I would buy it. Next, we had Baron Corbin defending the United States Championship against Sin Cara. This was a very good match. I'm actually liking what Sin Cara and Baron Corbin bring to the table. So, down the stretch, we had Sin Cara hit a springboard crossbody for a 2 count. I believe he slid out of the ring, or he bounced off the ropes, and then Corbin caught him in a beautiful deep 6 for a near fall. Corbin was sent to the outside. Sin Cara does a moonsault from the second rope to the floor. And then Sin Cara rolls Baron Corbin back in. He was sent up for the Swanton Bomb to finish it. Corbin gets up. Sin Cara is forced to jump, land on his feet, and roll through. And then he gets caught into an end of days. Baron Corbin retains the United States title, and he goes on to fight The Miz at Survivor Series. I am actually hoping that this feud is not over. I could definitely see this feud happening again at Clash of Champions. I think it would be a very nice mid-card feud. I think it would be a very nice feud to get Sin Cara into the spotlight and to get Baron Corbin a few more title defenses in there. And then eventually Baron Corbin can drop the title to someone like Bobby Roode or Sami Zayn or whoever they want to have him drop it to. Then, Natalya defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against Charlotte. This was a phenomenal match. It had everything. There was a point in the match where Charlotte was on the outside, and it looks like she was going for a moonsault off the barricade. Natalya caught her and did a super collider with her and the ring post. And then she rolled it back into the ring for the sharpshooter. Natalya locked it in. Charlotte got to the ropes. Then Charlotte threw Natalya outside the ring, and when Natalya came back in, she ate a big boot that looked brutal. Looked absolutely brutal. She locked Charlotte, or she was locked in the figure 8 by Charlotte. Charlotte bridged, Natalya tapped, and then after the match, we had a very good feel-good moment. Ric Flair came out, embraced Charlotte, and they both stood there doing Flair struts and celebrating Charlotte's title win. Charlotte now goes on to fight Alexa Bliss at Survivor Series. The Bludgeon Brothers are coming. Wherever they go, destruction, chaos, and anarchy follows. And they will be showing up next week on SmackDown Live. And the Hype Bros actually threw out the challenge to face off against the Bludgeon Brothers via social media. So it's going to be the Hype Bros versus the Bludgeon Brothers next week. Jimmy Uso defeated Chad Gable. This was actually a pretty good match. I'm surprised the crowd wasn't as into it as I hoped they would be. But nevertheless, it was a good match. Jimmy Uso won with a super kick to Chad Gable. And I'm actually assuming that Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin could very well be involved in the decision for the Bar versus the Usos match. There's nothing stopping WWE from having Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin interfere in that Raw Tag Team versus SmackDown Tag Team match. And possibly that could set up the rematch for Benjamin and Gable at Clash of Champions, where they will give it to Benjamin and Gable. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus The New Day ended in a no contest when the Shield came out, and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they really did show their true colors. Shane McMahon did say that they did not have brand loyalty, and they bailed pretty quickly. And then the Shield started going at it with the New Day. Then the Bar came out, and then the whole damn roster of Monday Night Raw just invaded SmackDown. We had Apollo Crews, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, Titus O'Neil, and then Kurt Angle motions to gorilla position. He comes out from gorilla position, he motions to gorilla position, and out comes Braun Strowman and just decks everyone. The Hype Bros, Nakamura, Shane McMahon, he just decimates everyone. Then came a triple powerbomb to Shane, and then Angle just holding Shane by his face, just saying, "You think this is bad? Wait until Sunday." And then Shane McMahon, he ended up receiving an Angle slam, and then another triple powerbomb at the hands of the Shield. Great show for SmackDown Live. I wouldn't change a thing about it. 205 Live came about, and this was actually a very good episode, apart from maybe one or two things. 205 Live, as I keep on saying, though a lot of people don't really pay it as much attention as it should get, it is still a very good show. It is still a very good wrestling show. So, show started off with Cedric Alexander and Rich Swann defeating the Brian Kendrick and Jack Gallagher in a Tornado Tag Team match. This was a very good match. It basically had everything. They were brawling on the outside, they were brawling on the inside, it had double team moves. So, there was a point in this match where Rich Swann was locked in a double submission, and I'm surprised that this did not end the match. Jack Gallagher had like a Fujiwara armbar, and Brian Kendrick had Rich Swann in the captain's hook. So it was a double submission. Cedric Alexander was able to break that up. Rich Swann took out Gallagher, a lumbar check later to Brian Kendrick, the hometown boy, and Rich Swann pull out the victory. Next, Mustafa Ali defeated Aria Davari. This was a very good match. I am going to give Mustafa Ali all the praise in the world because he is without a doubt that one cruiserweight. He's almost like the AJ Styles of the cruiserweights. It doesn't matter who you put Mustafa Ali in the ring with. Mustafa Ali will have a great match. He's proved it time and time and again. Mustafa Ali, he is definitely deserving of a cruiserweight title opportunity. Enzo Amore comes out with Gulak again, cutting promos of gold. Basically, we have zero presents, and I got you a beatdown present at the hands of Gulak. So Gulak, he was defeated by Kalisto, and then I'm not sure if they moved the cake to the back, but they either moved the cake to the back or had a pre-taped segment with Enzo and Kalisto, in which Kalisto just threw Enzo into the cake. And he said, Feliz cumpleaños, Sami. That wasn't really necessary, especially for 205 Live. But nevertheless, Kalisto has a lot of momentum going into his Cruiserweight Championship match come Sunday. Now, we got NXT. This was actually a very good go-home show for NXT TakeOver Wargames. So the show started off with the Street Profits versus Tino Sabbatelli and Riddick Moss. I feel as though it ended a bit too quickly, and that's all I will say about that. But Street Profits and Tino Sabbatelli and Riddick Moss, I think that these two teams, without a doubt, are future NXT Tag Team Champions. The Street Profits, without a doubt, I think that they could be the ones to take the titles off of the Undisputed Era, once the Undisputed Era get the titles off of Sanity, and then after the Street Profits have had a decent run with the titles, then, and only then, can Tino Sabbatelli and Riddick Moss be the ones to be the next top-tier heel tag team on NXT. Excuse me. So we had a video package for the Velveteen Dream and Alistair Black, and it was very nicely edited. It was very nicely put together, as Alistair Black was basically saying in the background while the video was playing, he refuses to acknowledge a child that throws a temper tantrum. Velveteen Dream said basically everything that fades to black must come into the light, and your lips will say my name. And Black says, you wanted my attention. You got it. Black versus the Velveteen Dream at NXT TakeOver Wargames is certainly going to be a great match. I can see great match written all over it. So, then, we had Lars Sullivan defeating Raul Mendoza in impressive fashion, might I add. Lars Sullivan, without a doubt, is a pure beast. So, the important thing here is what happened after the match, and Cassius Ohno actually ended up coming out after the match. He had a stare-off with Lars Sullivan, and Lars Sullivan, all he did was laugh and walk off. That was a very good touch they had there, with Lars Sullivan not seeing Cassius Ohno as a worthy competition, so it should make for an even better match come NXT TakeOver Wargames. It's going to be a hard-hitting match, trust me. It's going to be a brutal match, a true clash of the Titans. William Regal announced that Johnny Gargano will face Pete Dunne next week for the United Kingdom Championship. Now, let me tell you something. If there is one match that could give Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate a run for their money, it could very well be this match. Johnny Gargano, without a doubt, he is, without a doubt, one of possibly the AJ Styles of NXT. He can lead anyone to a great match, and Pete Dunne is Pete Dunne. He is fantastic in every sense of the word. So, trust me, it's going to be a great damn match next week. I was really hoping that it would have been for NXT TakeOver Wargames, but, I will settle for next week, as long as we get to see it. We had Ember Moon defeating Mercedes Martinez in, decent fashion. It was a decent match. Ember Moon won with the Eclipse, and then after the match, each and every single participant of the Fatal 4-Way, they had a stare-off leading up to their Fatal 4-Way at NXT TakeOver Wargames. Ruby Riott versus Sonya Deville is also announced for next week. Should be a decent match. And then in the main segment, we had McIntyre and Almas come face-to-face. Drew McIntyre basically referenced what Zelina Vega said, and basically said, yes, Zelina, you said that when you climb higher and higher up the mountain, it gets more difficult to breathe. Well, Almas is going to find out on Sunday that I am the Bloody Mountain. And then McIntyre basically said, Almas, I want you to come down and I want you to face me face to face, one-on-one, like a man. And then McIntyre added that little extra insult, that little extra jab towards Almas by saying, unless Selena ain't gonna let you off the leash for the night. This led Almas to come out, and they started to brawl. And then out of nowhere, I'm not even sure how Zelina Vega is able to do some of the stuff that she does, but Zelina Vega climbs she climbs up to the top turnbuckle from the outside, and she attempts to cross-body McIntyre. McIntyre catches her with ease. He puts her down, and then Almas takes advantage, nails the hammerlock DDT, and then Zelina Vega and Almas are just, praising the NXT Championship and basically saying that this is a sight of things to come at NXT TakeOver Wargames. Very good show. I have all the confidence in NXT TakeOver Wargames that it is going to be possibly the best takeover of the year. Now, let me tell you something. If I said that NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3 was one of the best shows that WWE's ever put on in the last decade, imagine what NXT TakeOver Wargames could do. Because NXT TakeOver Wargames, without a doubt, has been built up to be the biggest takeover of the year. And there have been 4 takeovers of this year already. We could be in for a real treat. Now, onto the news, rumors, and reports. We had James Ellsworth, and unfortunately for James Ellsworth, he has been released by the WWE. So, he had some great moments. He had some cringy moments, but overall, it was one hell of a run for James Ellsworth, and I thank Ellsworth for the entertaining moments and fun times that he had with the WWE. He got to do a lot of things that many of us would dream of doing, but ultimately we would never end up accomplishing those dreams. James Ellsworth proved that the impossible can be possible. I thank you, Ellsworth, and good luck. So then, my next report was actually reported across excuse me, I'm sorry. My next report was actually reported across multiple sources, but I saw it on Cage Side Seats, and they reported that WWE has reduced their Indian tour in December to only 1 day, and it's going to be a combined super show of Raw and SmackDown superstars. So, let me ask you this. Jinder Mahal was champion for 6 months, correct? If your plan was to boost the marketing and revenue in India by giving Jinder Mahal the WWE Championship, why are you cutting your tour in India down 1 day? It's because Jinder Mahal is not a main event level guy. Jinder Mahal, put it this way, his reign started off decent, I'm going to give him that, and then it just fell flat. It fell flat by week 6, week 7, and then that was it. That was it, and then he probably had one of the most forgettable WWE Championship reigns of all time. If anything, this WWE Championship reign is going to be remembered for being that bad. But apparently WWE is actually reaping the repercussions. They are facing the consequences of their actions, and unfortunately, yeah, they had to cancel a day. Now you've learned your lesson, WWE. Hopefully. But anyway, Cage Side Seats also is speculating that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn will interfere in the 5-on-5 men's Survivor Series match and cost SmackDown a victory. I've actually been calling this for the past couple of weeks, ever since Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn both lost their qualifying matches. They haven't really had anything to do. So, in my mind, it would only make sense for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to at least cost SmackDown Live one elimination. I mean, yeah, they could very well cost them a victory, and that could possibly lead to a tag team match between Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Shane McMahon, and somebody else, whatever partner of their choosing that they want to go with. But this more than likely will happen. I have a feeling in my gut that more than likely it will happen. So, Aaron Varble of WrestlingNews.com reported that the Wrestling Observer newsletter said that Scott Dawson could be ready to go by next month. This is actually exciting news, mainly because of 2 reasons. Number 1, the Revival are coming back, and the Revival, this has not been their year. This has been a very lackluster year for the Revival because, they were having some good times in NXT, and then Dawson got hurt after they got called up. They came back and they were doing pretty good. They were looking very nice in the ring. They were on their way to having a match with the Hardys at SummerSlam, and then that fell apart when Scott Dawson got injured. So now that they are back, now that they're going to be returning to the ring next month, this should be a new, fresh opportunity for Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, and I have all the confidence in me that they are going to focus on making 2018 their year. That's number one. And number two, this is huge for Monday Night Raw because Raw is sorely lacking in tag teams. See, we only got Slater and Rhino, The Bar, The Club, and maybe The Shield. You can count The Shield, but that's it. 4 tag teams. They really need another tag team back, and the Revival are that tag team to enhance the tag team division on Monday Night Raw. I would also put the Authors of Pain on there as well. Moving on, Brian Alvarez of the Wrestling Observer newsletter mentioned that Paige was actually scheduled at one point to be a part of the Raw women's team at Survivor Series, and WWE brought her in this past Monday. And if you guys missed it, there was a leaked photo going around Twitter that showed Paige entering the arena for Monday Night Raw. I happened to see it. So I actually thought that they were going to give that spot to Paige, but they ended up giving it to Bayley because the company ended up changing their plans before the show. And Alvarez is now speculating that the open spot on the SmackDown women's team could be reserved for Paige. I am actually all for this decision, mainly because of the fact that the SmackDown Live women's division, it doesn't really have those big stars that's really going to make you tune in to watch SmackDown Live for the women. The only real big stars that we actually have are Becky Lynch and Charlotte, and to a certain extent, Natalya. Carmella, yes, she's Miss Money in the Bank, but ultimately she hasn't been portrayed as a credible opponent. Tamina, she hasn't really done anything. Lana is useless. Naomi, yes, she was the longest reigning SmackDown Live Women's Champion, but at the same time, they haven't been portraying her as a credible opponent either ever since she lost to Natalya at SummerSlam. So this would mean huge for SmackDown Live to get some recognition regarding the women's division, and Paige, she could start a fresh beginning on Monday Night Raw, or excuse me, on SmackDown Live rather, and SmackDown Live could get the victory. And I'm going to actually say that the SmackDown Live versus Raw women's match, it is looking better than last year. It is actually looking a lot better than last year. And my last report of the day, and this is huge, Neville could possibly be returning to WWE. According to PW Insider, the talks between WWE and Neville recently have been positive, and he could be returning to the company before the end of the month. Keep that in mind. However, no source has confirmed whether or not he will still be in the Cruiserweight division or not. So, this is huge. I actually almost thought that we might have lost one of the most talented athletes to ever step foot in the WWE. But here's what I worry. I still worry that WWE will not do the right thing and take Neville out of the Cruiserweight division and actually put him in a meaningful feud. Not that the Cruiserweight feuds aren't meaningful, but I really want them to give Neville a chance to succeed outside the Cruiserweight division. Put him in a mid-card feud as a babyface with The Miz. Enzo got him over as a babyface. Why not take advantage of that? It would mean huge for Neville and would mean huge for Monday Night Raw. And ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this edition of the Lightning Flash Update. I would like to thank each and every one of you who tuned into this video live. You already know what to do. You gotta like, you gotta comment, you gotta subscribe, give that notifications bell a red arrow. Follow me on Instagram at TheDog316. Follow me on Twitter at #1 WWE fan. Do not forget, if you missed the rundown for NXT TakeOver Wargames, you can go and check it out. It is currently up right now. I posted it on Wednesday if you want to go back and rewatch it. Do not forget to check out the rundown for Survivor Series, which I will be posting tomorrow morning. I'm going to get up nice and early, record when I need to record, and get it to you on time. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one and only DJ Storms. Thank you so much for tuning into the Lightning Flash Update. I will see you tomorrow.